so let's continue. The last one is, so doing things right every time. Obviously, we want to, the first product that we manufacture needs to look exactly the same as the last product that we manufacture. So we don't want the product's characteristics to change. We don't want the look of the product to change. We need to do things right every time, because like we said, with doing things right the first time, we cannot afford to make any mistakes. The last one is that we need to do things better, because we want to gain that competitive advantage. And the only way to get a competitive advantage is to do things of a higher quality, faster, cheaper than our competitors. And that is the only way we're going to make profit and then achieve the competitive advantage. So guys, if we continue, so what I wanted to show you here is okay. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna see how it goes. Otherwise, I think we're gonna have to stop the class a bit earlier. I will give you guys an activity to do. And yeah, luckily we have enough sessions. So yeah, it's fine if we have to stop it earlier. Let me just see how we go. Let me just see how far I can get. And then if it keeps kicking us out, I think we're going to stop. And then we can always continue when I see you guys again in the week. Okay. So guys, what my aim was with this slide is, this is our objectives. This is what we want to achieve. This is what we want to achieve. And if we actually meet these objectives, that will mean that we will actually be able to satisfy the customer needs. Okay, and this is what we want. Meeting our objectives will lead to satisfying the customer's needs. So guys, the next thing we're going to look at, so we are still busy with the operations management model, but we are now going to focus on the three main components of the operations management model. Okay, so what is the operations function? Remember, the operations function is primarily concerned with the application of the resources, where we take our resources, we take what we have, the material, customers, information, HR, the equipment, we transform them into a finished product. Although we predominantly, and I said this in first semester as well, although we predominantly only focus on products, the operations management model can also work for services. And we are also going to look at the service side as well. So like we've already said, it comprises of three elements, which is inputs, transformation process, and the outputs. So if we look at inputs first, inputs are all the resources that will be transformed into something else. It also includes the resources that are required, so the labor, the equipment, the technology, that will assist us in transforming this resource into something else. So if you, for instance, think of milk, if we look at the inputs of milk, we have the cow, the farmer, we have the delivery trucks, we have the machinery that the farmer has on the farm to keep the milk cold while he's waiting for the truck. Then we have the transformation process. So this is where we change the physical appearance of the product. So guys, if you think of milk, none of us go to Clover with our little container and actually get the milk directly from Clover out of these big milk tankers. It doesn't work like that. So Clover has to take all the milk that is inside of those tankers. They have to test them, pasteurize them, homogenize them, bottle them, and then transport them to Pick n Pay, Checkers, or Spar. Then the last one is the outputs. So what happens with output? This is where the transformation process converts the input into an output. So the output is the finished product. This is the product that we are going to sell inside of Pick n Pay and Checkers. So guys, what I want you to do for me, I have a little activity. So I have some outputs for you, which is Takkies, we've done milk, a pencil, and then a garden fountain. So what I want you to do is I want you to make a list of the inputs that we would need for Takkies, what would happen inside of the transformation process so that the final product can be Takkies or a pencil or a garden fountain, for instance. Okay, so guys, I'm going to give you 10 minutes for this activity. Quickly make a list of all the resources that we'll need in the inputs. What will be the transformation process? And then obviously we'll have the finished product. Okay, so 10 minutes, and then we will discuss the inputs and the transformation process. Okay, whose mic is on? Inflammati? Is it off again? Okay, so guys, let's quickly look at the activity. If I have a pair of tackies, what will the input be? So what will my resources be that I will need to be able, that will allow me to actually manufacture the pair of tackies? Okay, so guys, you're welcome to post it in the comment box, or you can even switch your mic on if you want to. Okay, so we will need material so that we can manufacture the shoelaces. Okay, so what else, guys? What else do we need to manufacture, to be able to manufacture a pair of tackies? We need fabric. So depending on what the tacky will look like, we will either, if it's like a material, those wimpy tackies, we will need material fabric. If it's maybe a leather type of tacky, we'll need leather as well. Yes, yeah, so we need leather. That's how I know it. It's wimpy tackies, guys. I don't even know if there's another word for wimpy tackies. Yes, we need foam. That's what we're gonna put in the tacky. What about rubber, guys? So yeah, we need rubber. And then for the shoelaces, we need metal. So if you guys look here, you know the little thingies where the shoelaces go through, we will need metal as well. And then the transformation process. So what is going to happen? Explain to me what is going to happen in the transformation process. Now, Kianu, not just a mixture. Like go through the steps. Yeah, so what are we going to do? We're going to actually, this is where we're going to, for instance, cut out the material. We're going to assemble the shoe. We are going to look at, for instance, how we're going to transport the shoes, how we're going to, in what type of box are we going to put the shoes? What is the design of the box, for instance, going to look like? So this is where we're essentially going to take all the inputs. We're going to use the labor, the machinery, all the resources that we need to manufacture the shoe. And we are physically going to change the way that material looks. So if it's just a square sheet of material, we're going to cut out the pattern and then we're going to start stitching the shoe together. Okay, so guys, what are the inputs that we need for a pencil? Okay, we definitely need wood. Okay, we need lead. We maybe need some paint as well if you want to paint the outside of the pencil, I will say. What about the labor? We need the machinery as well. Remember, we need the technology as well that will assist us in actually being able to manufacture the pencil. And then what will happen in the transformation process? Okay, so the first thing that we'll have to do is that we have to obviously We'll take the wood, we have to drill a hole through it, we'll put the lead or the graphite in, we'll sharpen the pencil, and then, Kiana, we will have to package it. I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen a truck arrive with 10,000 pencils inside of it, just lying around there. Obviously, we have to package it nicely. So we'll put it in a box of 10 different pencils, and then we will take 50 packets of pencils, we'll put it into a bigger box, and then that is what we'll deliver to Pick n Pay or Spar, for instance. Okay, a garden fountain, guys. What goes into manufacturing a garden fountain? Okay, we'll need grass, yes. Okay, we'll need water, cement, okay, we'll need labor as well. What about, yes, Megan, that's what I want to say. We'll need a mold that we can mold the shape of the water fountain. We'll need the pipes. We'll need the plastic pipes that the water is going to run through. We'll need the little machine that's going to actually pull and push the water to go through the fountain. We will need the design, because a lot of the, yes, Daniela, the motor, a lot of the fountain designs look different. So we'll also need a design on how we want this fountain to look. And then what is going to happen in the transformation process? Yeah, so this is where we're going to change the characteristics. So we're going to take the 10 meters of pipe, we're going to cut it down into the size of piping that we want. We are going to take the cement, we're going to put it inside of a mold. We are going to assemble the whole fountain. We are going to deliver it to the customer, for instance. Yes, we're going to install it. We're going to make sure that the motor runs properly, and the finished output of the product will be a water fountain that actually works. Okay. So guys, do you understand input, the transformation process, and the output? Okay, 100%, and I'm happy. Okay, so guys, this is where, let me quickly think. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the different characteristics. So remember that I said earlier, we have both manufacturing as well as services, and we are now going to go and classify them according to if it's what type of manufacturing process it is, and also what type of service it is. Okay, so guys, when we look at the different characteristics, in order that will help us define what type of manufacturing or service process it is, the first one is the volume of output. So remember that the process doesn't change. If we, for instance, look at a car factory, if we take let me really think of like a McLaren versus a Ford, both of them use the same process. Both of them are assembling a car, but the volume of output differs. So McLaren might only manufacture 2 cars a month, where Ford manufactures 100 cars a month. So it does depend on how much of the product they are manufacturing per day, per week, a month, or a year, for instance. Then we have to look at the variety of output. So with the variety, what is the different range of items that they have? So do they only have one type of car, and this is the only car that they have? So if you want to, for instance, buy a McLaren, there's only this one shape of car, and that's it. There's nothing else. Or do they maybe like Ford? Ford has 10 different types of cars. So if you don't want a bakkie, you can look for a smaller car, for instance. You can look for an SUV as well. And then the variation of output. So with the variation of output, if you think, for instance, of ice cream, or you think of hot chocolate, or my new favorite, Milo, we don't really drink hot chocolate and Milo in December. Okay, so obviously Nestle and, oh, Nestle actually manufactures both hot chocolate and Milo. So Nestle is not really going to manufacture as much hot chocolate and Milo in December as they will in June and July, for instance. The same with ice cream. You will manufacture more ice creams in the summer months than you will in the winter months. Then the visibility of the output. So how visible are the customer in the designing process? So if you, for instance, think of someone that's designing or that's making a dress or a suit for you, you will be very, very involved in that custom design because it is manufactured especially for you, for your body. Versus if you go to Woolworths, you can't go to Woolworths and say to them, "Hi guys, I love this dress. Can you maybe can we chat to the designer so they can maybe just, make a few alterations for me?" Woolworths is gonna laugh at you. They don't even know who the designer is that manufactured that designed and manufactured that specific product. So how visible is the customer in the design process? And obviously, if it's a custom designed product, the customer will be very, very visible in that specific process. So guys, I'm gonna skip over this slide and then we'll come back to it. So when we look at the process types for manufacturers, like we said, the classification system is according to the volume of output as well as the variety of products. So we have project processes, we have jobbing, batch, mass, and then a continuous process. So I'm going to use this model to explain it to you guys, but I have also broken it down for you. That just explains every single process in a little bit more detail. So this is also part of the slides, but I'm going to use this diagram, because it just shows it a little bit better. So the first one is the project process. So with a project process, this is, for instance, like building a house or building an office block, for instance. Not all houses look the same. So the volume, the amount of houses that they're building at a time is very low. So a construction worker might have 2 houses that they're working on, but that's it. Once those houses are finished, they will then move on to the next house. So the volume is very low. Okay, we're not building 10 houses a day, but the variety is very high because every single house differs. Not every house looks exactly the same. Then the next one is jobbing. So jobbing, the volume is a little bit more. There's an increase in volume. So there's an increase in the amount of this thing that we are manufacturing. And the variety is also a little bit less. So if you think of a jeweler, so think, for instance, of Stearns or American Swiss, you can't go to American Swiss and ask them to design a ring for you. Okay. They will send you to a jeweler that will design a custom ring for you. American Swiss will say to you, this is what we have. This is our range of earrings or watches or rings. And then you can choose from that range of jewelry that they have available. They do manufacture more of that specific watch or that ring. So they might have 6 different rings, or the same ring but 6 different sizes, or same of earrings, one type of earring, but they'll have 10 pairs of the same earring. Then we move on to batch. So guys, batch, another word for a batch process is also a job lot. So what happened with a batch process is, think of, for instance, of a furniture manufacturer. They will manufacture a certain amount of couches. When I did this yesterday with the students, I kept thinking, I don't know if you guys saw about Pablo, the blue couch that went missing in the looting, the blue one. I don't know if you guys remember Pablo. The couch's name is Pablo because it's the design of the couch. So remember, everything that's designed normally has a name attached to it. So if you think of the blue couch that's called Pablo that went missing, I forgot the furniture store. I don't think it's Rochester, but anyway. So what happens is that they will manufacture this particular couch. They will make it in 5 different colors, and then they will stop. Then they will manufacture the next couch design. So you can't really go to a furniture manufacturer and say to them, hi, I really like this couch, but it's too low and this cushion is not thick enough and I want to change this. They're going to tell you, no, we have this couch in 5 different colors. So you can choose the color, but we can't custom make a couch for you. So yes, we have a few different varieties because we have different colors of the couch. We have different shapes and sizes, but it's not like a project process where the couch is actually custom made per customer. And yes, there are companies that make custom couches, but Rochester or any of the big couch like Coreycraft, they don't custom make couches for customers. The next one is a mass process. So guys, with a mass, you can see the volume is very, very high and the variety is even lower. So with this, you have, for instance, like if we take Ford again, they have 10 different cars. They have 5 colors per car. Yes, there's variety because you can ask them to custom, to change the color of the car to a matte gold if you, for instance, want that. But the variety is lower because the car's already there. So you can change the car a little bit, but you can't change too much of the particular car. And then the last process is the continuous process. So think, for instance, of a cement manufacturer. They only have 2 types of cement. If you go to a cement manufacturer and you say to them, hi, I know the bags are only in like 20 kilos, but can I have like a bag in 1 kilo? They will say no. Our process manufactures cement in 20 kilo bags, and that's all that we have. We are not going to design a bag for one customer. We are not going to stop the process to now fill a 1 kilo bag just for one customer. It just doesn't work like that. They have not created their processes to actually have or to custom make cement for a particular customer. Okay, so guys, I hope that you understand these 5 different processes. And then, like I said, I've also just broken them down a little bit so that you can see, just so that if you may be struggling with one of them, then you can just go through it here as well. Okay, so guys, that's where I'm going to stop for today. When I see you guys again, we're going to do the activity that I skipped over. We can then start with that activity. Thank you for bearing with VC Learn. I can't even say bearing with me because it was VC Learn this time, but now VC Learn is actually fine. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. And then I will see you guys a bit later in the week. Let me just quickly check when I am seeing you guys again. I'm seeing you guys again on Thursday. Okay, so I'm going to see you guys on Thursday again, and then we will continue with the rest of this chapter. Okay, bye guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.